Right, so I want to start by explaining what this is because this is something new for us. This is What's on the Menu, and this is going to be a podcast style series where we take a look back at the food that we've already made on the channel and ask ourselves one simple question: would I actually be happy serving this to people? Now, over the years in the comments, many of you have suggested to us that we should one day open up a food truck, a pop up, or even a restaurant one day. And whether or not that ever happens, it's completely changed the way we think about food when we're cooking and producing those videos. Every time we cook, we now think, would we put this on our menu? So, this podcast, What's on the Menu, is going to be a kind of test kitchen, a place where I can think out loud and David can think out loud, and we can be honest and decide what really earns a place on the H menu. Now, that brings me nicely onto HQ. Now, some of you may have heard us talk about HQ before, and it might be completely new to a lot of you. So, HQ is kind of the name we decided to give our fantasy food restaurant. And the reason being is it is a bit of a wordplay. It comes from HQ, as in headquarters, but also the H represents us, and the Q can also stand for barbecue. So HQ, that's how it was born. So if you like, HQ is our food headquarters, where barbecue is going to be part of the DNA, but that's not going to tell you the whole story. Now, I never know, is this going to be on the cards one day, but it is fun to think about. And it got us thinking about what kind of podcast would work or what kind of live could we bring to you that was a little bit different. Hence today's podcast stroke live called What's on the Menu. I wanted to do a little jingle there, but I stopped myself. So today we're going to be ranking our top 10 desserts. Now, why did I start with desserts? Quite simply because I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. But I think also a dessert tells you a lot about a place. If you have a good dessert, you leave a place feeling content, you feel happy. And a dessert is kind of one of those parts of the dish that you quite often share with other people. Or you might have like a whole dessert, take one home and share it. So if a dessert really works on a menu, then you know it's going to have earned a place on that menu and it's going to be a good place to go and eat. Okay, now I'm going to get on with the rankings, but first I'm just going to tell you that this is my personal ranking of the things that I would put on my top 10. And this is going to ever evolve and change as you guys bring us more recipes to try. Also, David is going to have an opinion at some point and he's going to be like, you got to take that one off or move that one up. And also, this is going to be a top 10 list. Okay, so this is our top 10 favorite desserts. But in reality, if we ever did have a food place, there is no way I think we'd be serving 10 desserts, would we? Maybe 5 at a push. So this again is all a little bit of H fantasy. Okay, on to my little ranking system. So at number 10, we're going to go with chocolate chip cookies, but they have to be the crumble style. So we did a video quite a while ago where we tried crumble cookies for the first time and we made them ourselves. Now, it's not something we'd ever heard of, but a lot of you were telling us, yeah, crumble cookies, they are a thing. They're quite a good cookie over here in the States. And then when we finally made them, the one thing that we did notice about them that stood out was the sheer size. Much bigger than any cookie I've ever had or seen in the UK before. But more than that, when we tried them, every ingredient stood out for itself. You could taste the chocolate, the butter, the sugar. Nothing got lost in that recipe with all the ingredients mixed together. And they genuinely were unforgettable for me. And we've made these quite a few times now, and they've always gone down really well. Like my nephew plays football, and I found myself making up a batch and taking them to football and passing them out to his friends. And they all enjoyed it, and it made me feel proud and put a smile on my face knowing that they had a really good cookie, which I don't think they would have experienced as good a cookie had we had not made one. That's bigging ourselves up. So they did leave a really impression on us. And from a menu point of view, I can see these working really well because you could batch cook them, you can make them on volume, and you wouldn't have to compromise on taste or quality. And I also want to say, like, I would quite often overlook a cookie because I'm more of a brownie person. And Well, actually, unless it's an oatmeal raisin cookie, and then I'm all in because that's my favourite. But I don't think I've ever seen cookies really on a menu. And I don't think if they were on a menu, I would buy them or order them. So it's reminded me that things shouldn't be underestimated just because they're a little bit familiar. And it's sometimes the simplest things that are done exceptionally well that deserve more respect than we give them. And if this was on a menu, I could see the adults bypassing and going, "Oh, I'm not having a cookie. I can buy a pack of them down Morrison's." But I think the kids would get involved and they would be like, "Okay, I want the cookie." And then, I don't know, waitress me comes out with the cookie, puts it down on the table, and they get this humongous cookie. Okay, they're not quite that big, but they're much bigger than a cookie they would have seen before. And they would not be able to finish it because these cookies are big. So the adults would then be undoubtedly going, I'm going to have to try a bit. I'm going to have a little bite. And as soon as that little crumb touches their lips and they have their first crumble cookie, they're going to fall in love with it. So they'll be going, maybe we should order an extra batch and take them home. Or going, oh, hey, H's, could you do them for mail order and send me a box of them because I, like them to have them on a weekend? We could be like the next Girl Scouts. We could go selling them door to door. Something like that anyway. So guys, would you have skipped past cookies, chocolate chip cookies, if they were on a menu? So I'm going to move up the list, and I think this one's going to surprise a lot of people that is going to be ranked number 9 out of all the desserts we've tried, because this really is a regional American desserts that our friends in Indiana introduced us to. It's been around for years over there, but us Brits, we just wouldn't know that it ever existed. And I don't think some of you have had it. So if you've never had it, imagine something like a creme brulee, but in a pie crust, but set a little bit more like a custard rather than being like a gooey custard. I know people would just love the taste of these. And over here, if we had a pop up or a restaurant, it would be something that's quite unique because it's not quite English. It's not quite a French creme brulee, if I can say that, creme brulee, but it actually works. Now, this is one of those desserts where the only thing I think it would need on a menu, because you could have sugar cream pie, and I think a lot of people would not understand or even attempt to imagine what kind of dessert that would be. But I think all that it needs is a really good description, and you'd have people ordering it. But what I like about this dessert is from a menu point of view, you could actually make it ahead of time because you have to. You have to let that custard set. So you can make it like the night before or maybe a day before. And then, you haven't got that rush on when you're serving food. But I can actually imagine people going, oh, that sugar cream pie at the HSQ was to die for. Guys, whoever's with me, who's had a sugar cream pie before? Because I've got a feeling a lot of you will not have had a sugar cream pie before. You should. You really should. Now then, this is one that made a real impression. So when Alana tried my choice for number 8, she could not stop smiling. And I think that tells you something just by her little reaction alone. So this is a bright, citrusy, and you've got a lemon that wakes your taste buds up immediately. And yes, guys, it's lemon bars. Now, the lemon bars that we did, they were from Preppy Kitchen, and I really loved them. They're something that's a little bit familiar to us Brits because I think they were taken from elements of like Scotland. So you've got like your shortbread combination at the bottom, and then you've got your like kind of lemon curd custard. So they're a bit like something that we call a custard slice. And I mentioned this in the original video, but they've got this different taste and then they've got this real lemon, citrusy, yummy flavor. Now, what I like about these is I think they will appeal to people of all ages, especially after a heavy meal. So going back to HQ, I'm thinking people would have a lot of protein if they were coming on a barbecue day, say, and they would have lots of different meats. So David would be cooking up brisket, ribs, all of that, lovely dino ribs. And afterwards, you would want a dessert. You might go for something light, admittedly, but something strong, lemony. That acidity would really cut through all that fat and protein that you've just ate. So I could see it working quite well. And again, from a menu point of view, it works quite well because they need to set, they refrigerate for a few days and they can stay stable. Stable? Stable. Stable's another thing, isn't it? It's a kind of cookie. So they stay stable. So it makes them very menu friendly. I'm not sure if I'm alone in wanting to eat a lemon bar after such a big meal, but I kind of feel like it's a good one to have there, and it is my number 8. Now, number 7, that's where things got a little bit tricky for me. I couldn't separate between these 2 dishes because I genuinely love them both. So first up, we've got banana pudding. It's one of the first desserts that we made when we came back from our first time in America when we did the channel. So our first vlogs where we were in America, we came back and we were like, yes, let's make a banana pudding. Although we hadn't tried one in America up to this point, but we had gone and had our first taste of American barbecue, and we were like, I know banana pudding goes really well with barbecue. We've got to come back. We've got to make that dish. So that's what we did. And then there's banana cream pie, which that's always going to be really memorable because if you don't know, that is the dessert I was making when halfway through the video and filming, I gave birth to Alyssa. So we're never going to forget that one. Now, banana pudding on its own completely surprised me because I don't always love bananas. I'll eat them, but they're not really my go-to. But banana pudding really did knock my socks off. Then you've got banana cream pie, which takes everything I like and love about banana pudding and it just elevates it. It's creamier, it's more decadent, it's more refined. And from a menu point of view, I think a pie would present better because it looks a lot better presentational wise. And I think it would look really good on a menu. But then I also know that banana pudding does go really well and fits alongside barbecue food really well. So I'm completely torn and I might need a bit of crowd participation from you guys to let me know, would you pop pudding or pie on the menu? So banana cream pie or banana pudding? I'm not sure. It's still up for debate. Okay, so number 6. This one really, really did challenge my expectations. But I never thought I would make these, let alone put them on a fantasy menu, especially after trying pumpkin pie, which didn't go down well the very first time we tried it. That's what I'm trying to say. So number 6 is mini pumpkin whoopie pies. These completely changed my mind. The sponge was incredibly moist and indulgent, and that cream cheese filling, it just worked. They're actually quite reminiscent, this particular recipe, of carrot cake, which a lot of us Brits already love, but the pumpkin pie gave it a real taste of America. Now, we don't cook a lot with pumpkin over here. So if you put something pumpkin on the menu, especially as a dessert, there'll be a lot of hesitant Brits that will be attending HQ. And I feel like the mini whoopie pies, the mini pumpkin whoopie pies, would be something new that people had never had before. And they'd intrigue them, but they wouldn't be intimidated by it. So the little sandwich style whoopie pies, I think you all know what I'm talking about. We did do a original whoopie pie the other day with the chocolate and the marshmallow fluff. And yeah, they were big, but they weren't the one I've chosen for this special ranking. But those sandwich style whoopie pies, they just look special. I think they work beautifully with a cup of tea or part of a larger dessert. So you could have like several little mini whoopie pies or several mini desserts. I think sometimes you can get them in restaurants over here, like a trio of mini desserts. So I think I'd have to test this one with a kind of test market here in the UK and say, look, if I put pumpkin something on the menu, would that put you off or would it tempt you? Okay, we are at the halfway point of my little list now. So, has your favorite dessert come up already or are you still waiting for it? Or is there anything missing from my ranking that you'd expect to see on a menu like this? Now, for those of you that are live with me in the chat, I can see some of your messages, but I'm trying not to be distracted and I am going to come to them in a second. Some of you might be watching this back, which I'm really encouraging you to do because we're going to try and do this as a podcast and then come to the live at the end so that you don't switch off because I know not everybody likes a live. But halfway through this list, and I feel like we're in the final 5, it's the final countdown. I kind of wanted to build up a little bit of tension and see what you guys were expecting to be on the rest of this list, but just going to crack on. Number 5. Now, I got a little story to this one. Well, when I was growing up, I kind of still do. I've got asthma. And because of that, I always had to be quite careful with things that I ate that might irritate it. And things like nuts can sometimes irritate your breathing. And I would never have them late at night, and I wouldn't always try like different varieties of nuts. And I still got that kind of thing with almonds. If I have almonds, they make my like mouth and throat feel a bit funny. I'm not allergic to them, or at least I don't think I have. I don't have like an anaphylactic shock or anything like that. But yeah, it just makes my mouth and everything feel really strange. So I just avoid them if I can. But I've not been diagnosed with any allergy. I've never tested for one. But yeah, peanut allergies and all nut allergies, they're very serious. So if you've got one or suspect you have one, then please go get checked. But that led me on to like naturally avoiding any desserts that contain nuts. And I might be alone in this because I know like you like to add certain nuts to things like carrot cakes, you had the walnuts in and things like that. But if a dessert had nuts in, I would always avoid it because I always thought it kind of ruined a dessert a little bit. But then came the pecan pie, and I was going to say it ruined everything, but it didn't. It turned my world upside down and everything I suspected about nuts and desserts with nuts in. And actually, that's another thing. Like, I'm not a massive peanut butter fan and chocolate bars with nuts in. But I think maybe my tastes have changed a bit because I like to have things that now have peanuts in it, and I don't mind peanut butter, although I'm not one of those people that would put peanut butter on toast. I'll leave that to David. But yeah, pecan pie. So that's my number 5. Now, the first time we tried it, we were honestly overwhelmed, but in the best possible way. I think I like the fact that the pecans still had a bite. So when you bit into them, there was still that harder texture, but then they went all nice and soft, not like a raw nut. And then you kind of combine it with the caro syrup. I never know if I'm saying that right, but that was like a lovely syrupy filling that brought everything together. And it was just like, oh, it was lovely, lovely and sweet. So because we liked that one, we wanted to introduce some of our family to it. So when we did our American Thanksgiving and we had family over, we made the pecan pie again and it went down a storm. And Alana loved it, but also Robin loved it. Robin said to me, I'd have this again. That's like my favorite dessert now. And that took me by surprise because I was like, kids and nuts don't always go, but pecan pie and kids, that goes together like peanut butter and jelly. Is that what you guys say? Right. If it was on a menu over here, though, we don't really have many desserts that like are that nutty. So we have like you might have coffee and walnut cake as an example, but you don't have a pie dedicated to pecans alone. I don't even think we cook with pecans much over here. You can buy them, but I don't see many recipes for something containing pecans. So the fact that there's a pie dedicated to pecans and you put it on a menu, I think it would really surprise British people and they would have it and they'd definitely be coming back for more. And I think that's why this dessert works so well in America, especially alongside barbecue food. Now, I don't know if that one surprised you or not, but I think from our love of pecan pies, you know that it had to probably feature up there somewhere. Okay, we're getting higher and higher up my little list. So number 4, this one's a bit familiar, but it's completely changed my expectations. Number 4 is the apple pie. Now, I've never tasted an apple pie like the first one we made. We took a subscriber recipe, so we took Mary Lee's recipe, and we made our first apple pie that way. And literally, that recipe amplified everything that was good in an apple pie already. Now, I did always like an apple pie, but it wasn't up there with my like top things to eat. And Mary Lee's recipe came along and those warm spices, so you had your cinnamons and your nutmegs, it gave it like a really proper autumnal feel. So I've always been like more of a apple crumble person, but when we had this dessert, when we got Mary Pie? Mary Lee's apple pie recipe, she said to us, "Just use a pastry," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started hunting around for a pastry recipe, and we found an all butter pastry recipe, which worked really well with this apple pie, and the 2 things just work phenomenally well together. So, gone were the days of my crumble. Like, I still love an apple crumble because I love custard, and apple crumble with custard over here is just but apple pie with this all butter pastry filling, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And I think people over here, if they had that on a menu, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I like apple pie. I'll give that a go." But when they try this apple pie, they'll be like blown away. I can guarantee it. So I think what I would do though with this apple pie is I would make it a little bit seasonal. So I'd maybe do Mary Lee's exact version for like an autumn winter apple pie because it's got all those lovely wintry autumnally spices in them. Even smells like winter to me. And then in the summer or spring, I'd do like a lighter version. So maybe something with more lemony zest and maybe a little bit less spice. Maybe just cinnamon because, we love cinnamon in this house. But there is one thing I would refuse to do to my apple pie if it was on the menu at HQ. And that, my friends, I would not serve it with a slice of cheese. Now I get that apple and cheese go well. I'm not saying that. I like that. But please don't put cheese on my apple pie. I just not for me, I'm afraid. Okay. If I remembered how to work the things on a live, I'd maybe give a drum roll, but I'm not going to. So, number 3. This is a bit of a classic. New York cheesecake. Now, I love a cheesecake, but for me, cheesecake has to be relatively simple. I don't like too many different flavors in it, and I, for one, cannot stand a chocolate cheesecake. I don't know what it is, but I just don't think I like chocolate and cheese, like cream cheese, that kind of thing. I just don't think it works. It's got a funny little taste in my mind. And I just think a New York cheesecake is where it's at. It's simple, but it's still thick, indulgent, rich, but not too heavy. And that's what we were. And the New York cheesecake we did, I think it was Martha Stewart's recipe. I think it was. You might have to help me out with that one. But yes, Martha Stewart's recipe, if it was that one, it just turned out beautifully. And when it came out the oven and I popped it there on the side and I cut a slice out of it, I was actually genuinely proud of having made that lovely looking New York style cheesecake. Now, I know a lot of you said, "Oh, you should put some strawberries on it or you should do this." I just like it simple. So if this was showing up on my menu, it would be a slice of New York style cheesecake on its own, no fuss, no decorations, nothing. Maybe a little bit of cream on the side so you could pour your own cream on. That would be it. I'd keep that one really simple and really plain. Now, we have actually on the channel tried some other cheesecakes. We've made a few. There was the cinnamon roll cheesecake and there was the eggnog cheesecake. Eggnog cheesecake, in case I said that a little bit wrong. And they were both fantastic. But for me, I've got to say, the New York cheesecake was the champion of cheesecakes. And I think this cheesecake, had it be on a menu, it would be like a special and it would only be available until it's sold out. So you wouldn't be able to buy this. You'd have to, order your cheesecake before you order your meal because it is going to sell out. And once it sells out, I'm not making another cheesecake because it takes a while. But that would be that dish. Was anybody expecting a cheesecake to be this high up on our list? I don't know. Okay, number 2. Now, this one very nearly took a top spot on my HQ menu. We've made quite a few cobblers now over our time, but the peach cobbler, the peach cobbler is one that kept me coming back. Now, it's comforting, it's pillowy, it's rustic, it's spoonable, which is one thing that I wasn't expecting. It's not quite a cake, is it? Because you've got to spoon it. It's kind of like it's still a little bit of a batter, or I don't really know how to describe a cobbler to somebody who's not had a cobbler, but you just have to try a cobbler. You have to trust your recipe, because one thing I did before, I was like, that's just not set. That's not set. And I kept trying to cook it like a cake, and it just was not setting. And then I had a cobbler in America, and I was like, okay, it's not meant to be like a cake. It's meant to be a little bit like spoonable. That's the only word I can describe it. So I'm actually torn here between recommending and putting on the menu either a peach cobbler or a blackberry cobbler. So the blackberry cobbler, that just reminds me of cooking with one of my idols. For those of you that know, we went to Idaho. We did go to Idaho, but not on this trip. We went to Oklahoma, and we got to film with the legend that is Cowboy Ken. And honestly, it was one of those pinch me moments. And he showed us how to make a blackberry cobbler in a Dutch oven. And it tasted fantastic. I cannot say anything bad about that cobbler, especially because we had it with bluebell ice cream. But a cobbler is just an amazing dish. So blackberry cobbler is going to have a special place, but peach cobbler is one that I've made time and time again. So for me, the peach cobbler is just something else. It's that sweet fruit against that soft, but that you got like a slightly crisp topping, and it's just heaven. It just works so well. And then the the blackberry cobbler, that also works well. And what I love about this is if we did put it on a menu, you can use frozen or tinned fruit. So it's really practical, and it doesn't necessarily have to be seasonal because you can get those things year round. So you could always have this as one consistent thing on your menu. It's a staple. People would know. They come to HQ, I'm going to get that cobbler. So guys, peach or blackberry, what are you going to choose? Which cobbler? Now, I know somebody's probably going to say, just make them both. Put peach and blackberry into the same cobbler. But I feel like I feel like I need to be a purist at this point and say, no, it's got to be one or the other. We don't want folks getting crazy over here in the UK once they've had like a blackberry and peach cobbler mashup, and, you know, they're just going to go wild, and we can't be dealing with that. Our prisons are already full with all those people that have been, you know, just putting their comments out on social media and getting arrested for it. Anyway, let's do a little recap, because we are up to number 1. So far we have had cookies, sugar cream pie, lemon bars, banana pudding, banana cream pie, pumpkin mini whoopie pies, a pecan pie, an apple pie, a cheesecake, and a cobbler. I think that's quite a strong menu. I think if I had that as a menu for my fantasy food venture, I'd be quite happy. I'd be like, oh, yeah, this is going to keep folks happy. But I also want to say, for those of you that know me, I absolutely love chocolate and cinnamon. So when I've gone through this list and I've put down all my choices and I was like, yep, like that one. And I've overlooked quite a few desserts because we've made quite a lot. I was like, I haven't actually put anything really heavily chocolatey or cinnamony on my list. So there's no cinnamon roll. There's no devil's food cake or fudge brownie or something like that. And I was like, that's everything I thought I loved. But to be honest, that's not everything I would order from a menu in a restaurant. If I was just making a cake for the fun of it or making a dessert for the fun of it, yeah, I'd probably go something quite chocolatey or something quite cinnamony. But if I went out for a meal, I don't think I'd end up choosing those, because I wouldn't bypass a potential starter, appetizer, and a main meal and then have one of those desserts. I'd want something different. So it made me realize that although I really love those things, and this wasn't intentional, it's just something that's happened. I think for me, desserts need to be a bit more balanced and textured. And I think that's where I've learnt so much through this journey on being on this channel and cooking all the dishes, is that I've got a different appreciation for food. I don't even like what I thought I liked. You've completely changed everything I thought I knew. And a cobbler is number 2 on my list of something that I've never even had before. So we're at number 1. And I don't know what it was about this one. There were so many things, but this could only be my number 1, because if you ask me what was my proudest moment on Cooking with H, this is one of them. And I don't really know why, because it took Alana and I a long time to make this. But I remember when I was doing the final bit to this one, I remember taking a step back and looking at it. And I was like, that's the thing of beauty. I think I was so proud of that dessert. And I remember filming it. I was like, when I'm filming this, I don't actually want me to be in focus. I want the dessert to be in focus. So we had the dessert up close and I was all blurry behind it. And I was just looking at this dessert whilst I was finishing it off and making it. So, number one, I'm going to leave a little bit more suspense actually. I'm going to just talk about it a bit. So, when I had that glossy chocolatey, okay, this is the only bit of chocolate, ganache, and it was dripping down the sides of this beautiful, beautiful, I'm going to call it a cake. And then you've got this French custard, which is sandwiched between two soft cake layers, which was creamy, indulgent, and honestly, it looked beautiful. Yes, you got it. The Boston cream pie. Oh my God. I honestly so proud of how this one turned out. And I'm going to admit, I was a bit upset because we made this cake and it was really nice and it was in the fridge. And we went to visit family. And David said, should we take the cake? And I was like, yeah, no, yeah, no. So we took the cake and there was a lot of it left, but none of it came back home with me. So I was a little bit disappointed. You know, I had to share that one. And, you know, you should share with fans. You should share with friends and family. But for me, this was one where I was like, I would have quite happily have made a second one and let everyone else eat that one because I just wanted one to myself. It was to die for. I could have ate that whole thing myself quite easily. But do you know what? Somebody suggested we make a Boston cream pie, and that's why we made it. But it wasn't until somebody pointed out to me, I'm going to say at least a year or so later, probably longer, that the favourite donut I've got at Krispy Kreme is a Boston cream pie donut. And I didn't know that that was a Boston cream pie donut. I just used to describe it as the one with like the custard and the chocolate on top. But when someone said, oh, yeah, that's the Krispy Kreme Boston cream pie donut, I was like, everything makes so much more sense. That is why I've loved and not stopped thinking about this dessert. But I've not made this dessert ever again. So I think I need to change that. I need to make this dessert because it looked and it felt like a dessert that you would go to a restaurant for. Now I can imagine people turning up before the service even starts, before the lunch service and selling us out. Or I can imagine Malcolm, who lives down the road, Malcolm popping his head over our fence on the morning and going, oh, you got any Boston cream pie? Or going, yeah, Nikita, you cooking Boston cream pie for tomorrow? Do you reckon I could have one myself? You can make one now. Or like, oh, it's my birthday coming up. Could you make me a Boston cream pie, Nikita? That kind of thing. And I'm like, absolutely, I get it. This one, it does take a while to make, but it did store really well. Like I said, we kept it in the fridge and we took it down to family, and then it didn't last very long at all, and I was disappointed. But guys, that was my number one. Were you expecting that to be my number one? And is there a dessert that's not featured on here that you think should be on there? And if you think there's something missing, let us know. So I want to ask you, and if you're watching this live, we'll go to the live in just a second, live chat, and we'll hang out for a little bit. But if you're not and you're watching this on catch up, then catch up, I sound like I'm on TV. If you're watching this back or rewatching it, I've got a question. If HQ was real and not a fantasy food venture, what dessert would you expect to see on our menu? Okay, I'm just going to say to anyone that was watching or rewatching, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching this one. Let me know in the comments for some of those questions. And if you enjoyed this, and don't forget to let me know so that we can do more episodes like this. But I'm going to bring it now to the live chat, and I'm going to stop ignoring you guys because it's really tempting to look over there, but I would have just lost my train of thought and you would have gone, oh, there you go, Super Dave, meringue cookies. I would have gone, oh, meringue cookies. And then I would have forgot my top 10 list completely. So over to the chat. Now, I know this is like a really funny time of day, but it just works. The girls are with my mum and dad, so I thought we need to do something. We haven't got a video for tonight, so I came up with this little idea that we would do this little podcast today. So I've jumped on. I thought I'm going to do it as a live because David, bless him, busy as you know, with everything going on. So I thought, if I do a live, now that I've done one, I got one under my belt, this is my second, I could do a live. He hasn't got to edit it. And this is today's video. So anyone that hasn't watched a long live with us, they might be able to watch this later on this evening. So yeah, thank you for hanging out. I am going to attempt to hang out now, but first I'm just going to have a drink because I realised I've just been like this, and this is me. This is me chatting so much because I love to chat. Hmm. Um. Um. Oh,
Super chat.
hey, I found the right button. Thank you, Josh. Um. Is the banana intentional? Is that because you like banana pudding or banana cream pie? I don't know. Let me know. Now, there are so many other desserts I could have chosen. And I think some of you will probably argue with me in the comments here. So let's have a quick look. We have got Lisa saying eclair donuts. Oh, I do like an eclair. They're not Honestly, they're not my favourite though. I think I'd rather have a Boston cream pie any day. With an eclair, I find sometimes they can be a little bit dry. And I know that sounds silly. I think it's like the choux pastry, and if you haven't got enough cream in there, but they are a good one, and David does like it. Jason, yeah, I know you said cinnamon rolls. I actually shocked myself, like honestly, that I hadn't put a cinnamon roll in there. But quite honestly, I have not made a cinnamon roll that is worthy of a top 10 list. By far, cinnamon rolls are good. But yeah, those 10 desserts, in my opinion, were better and would work better on a recipe menu, on a restaurant menu. Super Dave, I can make you can make eclair style with Boston cream filling. Would it still be classed as an eclair? I definitely would do that, and I think I'd prefer it. But I'm just wondering, would they still be an eclair, or are they like a variation? April, have I tried a Derby pie? No. There's quite a few things that I've not tried yet. And this is one of those things. So this is going to be forever evolving. When you guys decide to give us another recipe idea, like the Derby pie, we could try it. And then this menu is going to be forever changing. So we're going to have the hypothetical fantasy H menu, and we'll keep adjusting our rankings because, like I said, David's going to want to chip in there. I'm sure I've probably got some desserts on there that he's going to be like, Nikita, what about this one? So I think this is going to be ever evolving, and like you say, we need to keep trying desserts. A Derby pie is a cross between a pecan pie and a chocolate chip cookie with bourbon in it. Wow. Okay, that sounds interesting. You say bourbon, don't you? Not bourbon. Bourbon. The bread pudding. See, that was good as well. Bread pudding was really good, and I did contemplate putting that one on because it had bourbon in it. I just want to take you along with my thought process. So that was another good one. But yeah, I just feel like these were my 10s. Oh. Chris. I remember when you were so shy. Look at you now. Love watching your cooking show. Oh, thank you. I'm going to be completely honest. This was so far out my comfort zone. This is probably why this is only my second solo live ever. But never ever did I think I'd be doing YouTube. It's not something that I ever thought I'd be comfortable doing, like being this side of a camera. I'm not really like, if you try to take a photo of me, I'm the one that goes or makes stupid faces. Like I don't have like a natural smile that like people do. If someone says smile, I'm like like Friends. There's the episode of Monica and Chandler when they were doing their engagement photos, and Chandler, every time he asks to smile, he's like, that's me. I can't smile very well. So yeah, this side of the camera is not normally my thing. And it just happened. Like David started asking me to get involved. He's like, I think it'd be really good. And I know how much he loved doing this. He loves YouTube. He loves you guys, and he wants this to work, and he wants to grow the channel and the community and just hang out with everybody more often. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do a couple. And I was like too scared to say anything. And I've always said to David, I'm scared I'll mess something up. So that's why I don't always know if I'm comfortable doing a live on my own, just in case like, it's not just the technical side of things, it's kind of if I say something that I probably shouldn't have said, like, he might, at least if he's on with me, he can, like, shut up, like that. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm feeling more and more comfortable, and I'm just like, "Do you know what? This is me now. This is what I do. I'm living out my life in my kitchen in front of all of you guys, and I just hope you enjoy it." And I think, where are we now? I've nearly been doing this for 4 years, being that Atlanta's 4, and it wasn't until I went on maternity leave and stopped working, because that was another thing, I couldn't do it whilst I was working. Not at all. Um I was very, very like, not saying anyone wasn't busy, but I just didn't have the time. I'd come home from work and carry on working. So I would not have had the time for a family or for doing YouTube. And now I've got the best of both worlds because I've got a lovely family and I've got, I'm doing this, which I really enjoy. And I've got all you guys, all of our friends and family across the pond. And I think that's what's really helped me. And to come out of my shell, I suppose, is I feel like I'm just hanging out with friends now. And some of you I've met, some of you I haven't. Some of you I talk to on things like Zooms or in chats and stuff. So it's really, really nice, that I feel like I'm hanging out with friends. And I forget there's probably people watching this that don't know me and probably think, "Who's that crazy girl doing those stupid faces?" But yeah, that's me. Right. Joyanne, we miss David, but we understand it. Do you know what? He really misses you all, but he's in a really strange place at the moment emotionally. So I think he'll be back as soon as he can, obviously. But yeah, lots going on still, lots to sort out. And he's just got to take some time to work through a few things. And I'm sure he'll be back because I know he's itching. I know he's getting hungry as well because I'm just not feeding him. Because I'm like, if I'm not filming it, you're not eating it. No, no, I'm still feeding him. Don't worry. But yes, I know he's keen to get back into things. I know he's dying to literally do a barbecue and film it. So yeah, he's really gonna be wanting to do that. He's chomping at the bit, quite literally. Steve, did orange juice cake at least get an honourable mention? Do you know what? There were some things that I had to put an honourable mention for, and orange juice cake was one of those. But I think for me, the orange juice cake. So in my head, HQ is like a restaurant, and I think like the orange juice cake that would work well in a before lunch service with a slice. That would be the good one with a cup of tea or coffee, I think. Sit down and have that, or like an afternoon tea. So maybe I need to do a second list of Nikita's top 10 afternoon tea cakes or something. But yeah, it was really good, that orange juice cake. I'm not going to take anything away from it, but there's so many good desserts that we've had, and I had to be harsh. I had to be strict on my ratings, and yeah, don't, because you're making me second guess myself and say, "Well, should I have put that one on there?" Um, oh my gosh. Okay, Ginny, I should send you the recipe for tomato soup cake. It sounds disgusting, but it's delicious and resembles a spice cake. Okay, that's probably going to be something we do have to try, and that's probably going to be one of those things that we think we're going to hate. And in a way, I don't want to like it because there's so many good things that you guys have said to us to try, and we end up loving them. So if there's something that was like a bit meh, I'd love to try it. But yeah, it does sound very strange. And I think if I put that on a menu over here in the UK, I don't think that people would be ordering it. So we might have to come up with a different name for it. I did see a comment, which was lovely, from our dear friend John. And he put, "John Helwig, the best part of waking up is finding a Mr. H chat. Good morning, all. Caught the Boston cream pie bit." See, isn't that lovely? And this is why we love you guys and you are our friends and family, because within this all, like, you make such good friends and you make the community what it is. And that is why it's Mr. H and friends, and it's not Mr. H and Mrs. H, because obviously before I was on the channel, it was just you guys and David. So no, it's brilliant. We love hanging out with all you guys. Oh dear. T260. I'm still waiting for you guys to do a Dutch oven cobbler. Well, I tried the Dutch oven biscuits and they went down like literally. What were they more like? They were like that hardtack stuff you get. They did not work very well at all. I'm not sure if my Dutch oven skills are up to scratch to make a Dutch oven cobbler. But I'll definitely try it at some point. I just feel like if I do a one in the cast iron Dutch oven, I'd like to do it over fire, like real fire, rather in the oven. But I guess it is going to be a lot easier if I did do it in the oven. And like you say, I also know an awesome individual that would be able to help us out. So don't worry, I've got your card marked for that one. Right. Josh says I'll pass on the worms. Now, that comment alone could mean so many things, Josh. So go careful putting that on its own. But I think somebody was talking about a mud pie earlier. So I'm going to spare you that one because no one wants to know what kind of worms you've got. Oh dear. Right. Sorry, I make myself laugh sometimes. Jules, did we do a chocolate zucchini cake? No, we did zucchini bread, but we didn't do a chocolate version, I don't think. Do you know what? You guys have me doubting myself. Like sometimes I think we've made so many things and we get a recipe and I'm like, did we make that? Have we made that? And I have to go back sometimes through the videos that we've done and think, have we actually made something or not? Matt, you could do a top 1,000 list and I still think you'd be leaving things out. Do you know what? I think you're right. I think we'd maybe just have to rate everything. Like, it's hard enough rating things out of a 10, like, let alone what you're putting on your menu. Oh, the put on the menu grape jelly sausages. Yes. Jason says, are you talking about the little smokies and the barbecue sauce and jelly? Yes, all those meatballs. I just think over here, this is what I was saying about the sugar cream pie. I think if you have a really good description on a menu or something, it would be like hands down something people would order. But sometimes the names alone, people would get a bit confused about, and I think that's like a American English to UK English translation thing. And I think with the little smokies, if I said, "Oh, try these with the grape jelly," people would be like, "Hmm." But if I said like a grape compote, I don't know, something stupid like that, or grape shoe, people would be more inclined to try it. That's my own feelings about that. That's not actually correct. Um, but yes, I don't think. I wonder how many people have actually had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like how you guys have it. Because David said he had peanut butter sandwiches growing up. I don't think I ever really had peanut butter until recently because it's just, like I said, not really my thing. Oh, my favorite video when Alana calls out to dad, says, I love you. Or do you know what? We were watching some shorts back the other day. I think they're private ones, but David goes, Alana, can daddy have a kiss? And she gives him a kiss. And then he goes, oh, can I have a hug? And she goes, puts her head on him. It's just so cute. But yeah, we got all that to look forward to. Oh, and Miss Alyssa, yesterday she got her first tooth come through now, so she was been a bit grizzly the last couple of days and like not settling as well. She's such a happy little baby, so she doesn't like cry and that. She's just like trying to go to bed and she just keeps stirring and like just wants to be cuddled. And then yesterday I was like playing with her and I was like, oh, she got a little bit white in her mouth. It's her tooth, because she's been dribbling loads, but nothing's been happening. And she's not really been having any other like telltale signs apart from yesterday and the day before when she was a bit grizzly and then noticed this tooth. So yeah, she's got her first tooth. So she's going to be well on her way to enjoying some of this food with us quite soon. She just needs to be able to sit up a bit more on her own because she's a bit like flops forward a little bit. She needs to build that strength so that she can swallow better. And then, yeah, I'm sure she's going to be eating loads. Grace, better than beans on toast. What are we saying is better than beans on toast? Surely nothing's better than beans on toast. No, I know you will rip us for our beans on toast. I think every family does have beans on toast at some point, but I think it's like it's enjoyable. It's not like gourmet food or something that you're going to get in a restaurant. Although there are places that do sell beans on toast. If you want to go somewhere for breakfast, you can get like a full English breakfast, sausage bap, sausage sandwich, bacon butties, that kind of thing. And they also have sometimes beans on toast. There's one for the kids. But yeah, I do like a beans on toast. I'm going to stand up for our beans on toast. But what's better than beans on toast? I want to know. Because there is going to be lots of things better than beans on toast. I know I was jesting. Beans on toast and beans on potatoes. Yes, Joyanne. Baked beans on a jacket potato or baked potato, I think is really good, especially with cheese. Or if you have beans on toast and chuck a fried egg on top, that's quite good as well. Yes, Kristen, it is live. I am live with you right now. We just did a little top 10 ranking of the desserts that would be on our fantasy menu if we opened up a food venture. Oh, Grace, they put beans on toast on your plate. Oh, I would think if you came all the way over to spend time with them in Brighton, they'd give you something other than beans on toast. Come round to ours next time, and we'll cook you a taste from home. Oh, oh, do. Yeah, I think you should give beans on toast a shot. There is a variety of beans that is quite. I can't remember which one is more similar to our beans on toast, because I know some of yours has like different seasonings in it and like maybe some molasses and stuff. But there's one that is a bit different, that you've got over there, which is more like our beans on toast, and it works well. And I can imagine how like some things wouldn't work well as sorry, how some of your beans wouldn't work well on our version of beans on toast. But that's quite cool. Pork and beans and weenies, but not on bread. I think it is the pork and beans actually that's most like it. Do you eat beans on chips? Do you know what? I don't, but I will. Like quite often, let's say we want a quick dinner, and David calls it frozens. He said, "Do you want some frozens tonight?" That's what he used to say. It would be basically frozen chips and frozen, let's say, fish fingers with maybe some baked beans. And it's just one of those easy things that you think, if I've not got anything to cook, you know, there's going to be something in your freezer and a tin of beans in your cupboard or your pantry. So it just goes together well. But like, I can remember somewhere, I think it was in school once or something, like having a portion of beans on your chips, and it just actually tastes really nice. But you've also got to add some cheese, okay? So cheese goes really well with beans. Are the desserts worldwide or just American and English? Now, these are the American desserts that we've tried on the channel that we would be happy putting on a restaurant menu and serving to people. I can hear somebody. I can see some little hands under the door. Is there somebody there? Yeah. Oh, who is it? Do you want to come and say hello? Yeah. Look at that hair. Come on then. Right, somebody's back. So that might mean my time is up because I've got two little babies waiting for me now. But do you want to say hello to everybody? Oh, can I ask you a question? What is your favorite dessert that you've had that we've made? Oh, do you want to say that? Oh, she said banana pudding. So there we go. Can you remember the banana cream pie that we made when Alyssa was born? You and Daddy finished it, didn't you? No? Well, we might have to recap and make your memory be jogged on that one and watch the video. So, guys, if we have mentioned any video today that you've not already watched, then please do us a favor and go check out one of those videos if you haven't already. Please let me know if you like this format and if you liked doing something like this, because I will definitely do more and David will get involved when he's back up to filming. Mommy, yes. Rainbow pool. You did what? I put lots of things in my rainbow pool. Oh, okay. She did. I even pasted the things that are in my room. Okay, so she's sneakily made a rainbow pool. So that sounds like something. And I sprayed everything on, even the water cup. Okay, so pour water in the house?
Yeah.
That sounds like something I'm going to need to go and check out. So I just want to thank you all for checking in and for being with us. Thanks for all your well wishes to David. I'll make sure that I pass them on. And thank you so much for being here. Make sure you share the video, like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I guess all that leaves me to say is take care. God bless. See you in the next video.